Have you ever wished there was a single device that would allow you to control all of your 3D printers? Better yet, what if that device was portable and wireless, allowing you to initiate print jobs or monitor their status from the comfort of your desk? Well, here it is, the K-Touch from BigTreeTech. The K-Touch is to Klipper printers what the Panda Touch is to Bambu lab printers. In fact, the devices are identical. The only differences are the packaging and the firmware. You can even switch back and forth between them, turning your Panda Touch into a Klipper Touch or vice versa by simply updating the firmware. The Panda Touch acts as a control center for the Bambu X1, P1, and A1 series printers. The K-Touch does the same for any printer running Klipper, whether that be a Voron 2.4, a Creality K1, a Rotrig VCore 3, or any of the myriad of BigTreeTech printers. In this video, we'll be taking a closer look at this promising piece of tech, seeking to answer the ultimate question: gimmick or game changer? But first, a message from today's sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay is a prototyping service provider. They specialize in PCB fabrication, custom electronics, machining, sheet metal fabrication, and much more. Essentially, any service that you may need to turn your ideas into reality. With PCBWay's services, you can get parts machined from aluminum, laser cut from steel, or injection molded in polycarbonate. They're currently running a 10th anniversary sale, making their already reasonable prices even more affordable. So the next time you have a project that is outside your means, remember, PCBWay can help. Alright, back to the Klipper Touch. I previously reviewed the Panda Touch, demonstrating what it is and how it works. When this device was first announced, it was incredibly exciting for a few reasons. It added a touchscreen to the otherwise lacking P1S, allowing you to map AMS filament inputs and perform other such tasks that aren't otherwise possible using the stock hardware. With one Panda Touch, you could control up to 10 Bambu lab printers. You could switch back and forth between them as required, or control them simultaneously, assigning one printer as the leader and the others as followers. With one action, you could send the same print job from the leader to all of the followers. So this was all great, but it had a few issues and was missing a few features that were required for it to achieve its full potential. In the time since I produced that review, BigTreeTech has issued multiple firmware updates, fixing some of the bugs and adding new features. You now have the ability to create multiple groups of leader-follower pairs, breaking them out by printer type or whatever other criteria you see fit. They've also added the ability to connect the Panda Touch to the cloud, which automatically imports all of your existing printers, eliminating the tedious task of adding them manually. So it's come a long way, but I did notice that a few things have broken since I last used it. BigTreeTech is doing their best to maintain the usability of this device, but it's clear that they're fighting an uphill battle. They're playing in Bambu's sandbox. If the Panda Touch ever does get bricked entirely, you always have the option to switch it to a K-Touch. Given the open source nature of Klipper, I imagine we'll have a much easier time implementing and maintaining functionality. So what functionality does the K-Touch have? As I mentioned, the hardware is identical to the Panda Touch. It comes with the screen itself and a charging dock. This was ideal for the Bambu P1S. The cord was just long enough without being too long, and the USB output on the printer provided enough current to power the screen. I tried plugging the K-Touch into one of the USB-A ports on a Raspberry Pi running Klipper, but it didn't provide enough current to run it. The same was true of the USB ports on a few other printers I tried. The only printers that I was able to test that did provide enough current through USB were those from BigTreeTech. So given this, in most cases the K-Touch will need to be separately powered from the wall. This means that you'll need to pick up a standalone USB power brick. While you're at it, you'll probably want to replace the included short cable with something that's longer. The screen can be used in DC 5V mode, when tethered to the dock, or in battery mode. When used in battery mode, the screen is completely wireless, making it ultra portable. But the runtime is quite short, only lasting between 20 and 30 minutes, depending on screen brightness. The UI of the K-Touch is similar to the Panda Touch, but not identical. You start by connecting it to your Wi-Fi network. You can then initiate a scan for any Klipper printers that are on the same network, or add them manually by entering the IP address. You can connect up to 50 printers to one K-Touch. Switching between them simply requires entering the printer selection interface and selecting the desired one. With the printer selected, you're greeted by the main control interface. From here, you can see an overview of temperatures and fan speeds. Tapping the Axis Temp button takes us to a secondary interface. From here, we can preheat the nozzle or bed, typing in the set point or using one of the presets. We can also adjust the fan speeds using a slider. These controls allow us to home the printer and jog the axes, left or right, back and forth, or up and down, with the move distance corresponding to the highlighted option. There are also shortcuts for bed leveling and to disable the motors. On the side are the controls for filament loading or unloading. We can set the extrusion length and speed, then tap either retract or extrude. When we're ready to start a print, we click the Start Printing button, which will load all of the files from the printer's local storage. The process is quite slow, especially if there are a lot of files. We can see a thumbnail preview to help us decide which file to choose, but the resolution is very low. I hope that clicking into one would bring up a larger thumbnail, but it just brings up a confirmation screen. With the print running, the BigTreeTech logo on the main screen is replaced by the print status, indicating the percentage complete. The button in the lower left is the kill switch, which will halt the printer should anything be going horribly wrong. If we need to adjust the first layer squish, we can click into the calibration menu and select Z offset calibration. From here, we can jog the nozzle up or down and save the offset when we're done. The calibration menu also has shortcuts for checking the end stop status and PID tuning the hot end or bed. The only other menu is the settings menu, which pertains to the K-Touch itself, providing controls for such things as screen brightness, timeout duration, and UI color. Now, I know what you're probably wondering. What about custom macros, or sending commands through the console, or monitoring a camera feed? And how about simultaneous control of multiple printers? Well, as of right now, the K-Touch can't do any of those things. I think we can count on a portion of those features being incorporated in future firmware updates. But for now, what I've demonstrated is all it can do. It's a handy little device for certain applications, but it's missing the flagship features that made Panda Touch so intriguing. There's no notification center to handle events from multiple printers, no global status screen showing quick stats for your entire fleet, and no way to send one print job to multiple printers with a single operation. It can't currently read files from a USB either, so it won't act as a centralized print server to send jobs to multiple machines. So it's a few steps behind the Panda Touch, despite the firmware it's compatible with seemingly being easier to interface with. I do find this to be a bit of a letdown. Simultaneous control would be a game-changing feature for print farms, so I sure hope that's on their future roadmap. At the very least, it would be nice to be able to access macros for things like filament loading and unloading. Given how routine the updates have been for the Panda Touch, I think it's safe to say that the K-Touch will only get better with time. Until then, the primary use case for me will be operating printers that don't have a screen of their own. For managing a fleet of printers, another viable option is to use your phone running the Mobileraker app. This has much of the functionality the K-Touch is currently missing, like macros, a console, and webcam feeds. It will even show the status of ongoing prints on your phone's lock screen, indicating the estimated completion time. If BigTreeTech can implement some of these features while keeping the clean UI and accessible price point, the K-Touch will still be worth picking up. If they manage to implement multi-printer control, it will be a must-have for print farms. But I guess we'll have to stay tuned and see what happens. I know BigTreeTech will be listening and eager to hear your feedback, so do make sure you comment below with your feature wish list. On my wish list would be the ability to wirelessly upload files to the local storage, and then to select which printers to send the G-code to. In this way, the K-Touch would act as a file server and print host. But I'd love to know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this quick look at the K-Touch from BigTreeTech. I'll be sure to update you if and when more features get added, either by way of a pinned comment or a community post on my channel homepage. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on the latest innovations in the 3D printing industry. My name's Taylor, this is YGK3D, and until next time, happy 3D printing.